Today I have my Rock Island Armory M1911 A1 Tac II FS in 10 millimeter. This is a full-size 1911, but there are some slight differences as far as the takedown, so we'll go over that in a descriptive field strip. So let's check it out. First thing we're going to do is verify that it's clear. Finger out the trigger, aimed in a safe direction, and drop the mag. Lock it back. You can visually check it, or I physically check it. Alright, so we got that clear. So this firearm has two different things that are slightly different than your normal 1911. This has a full-length guide rod, but it does not have a barrel bushing, which in 45 it's not a big deal. You can take this apart under pressure, but since this is a 10 millimeter, the spring is pretty stout. So this one actually requires a tool. The tool that you would use is just a normal paper clip. Alright, to make the tool, you basically take a normal paper clip, you completely straighten it out, and then about 1/8 of an inch or so from the end, you just bend a 90-degree angle on it. I've actually added one on each end, but you want to make sure that it's straight. Alright, the first thing you're going to want to do once you have your tool made is rack your slide to the rear and lock it back. Alright, that compresses the spring around your guide rod. All right, and your guide rod is exposed. Now the hole that you're going to use this paper clip in is actually located on the top side of the guide rod, maybe 1/8 of an inch from the front of the slide when it's in the locked position. So it's in between the guide rod and the bottom of the barrel. So basically you'll take your paper clip with your angle. I have two different lengths of the end piece here. And what you want to do is locate that. Now if you're sighted, obviously you can just look in there and stick it in there, but I have to kind of feel it around. Alright, once you get the end into the hole in the guide rod, you'll want to rotate that so that it is parallel with your guide rod. Alright, and the next thing is obviously releasing your slide. Right, and so if you can hold the paper clip so it doesn't come back in there and release the slide so that it moves forward, it'll actually, the face of, or the front of your slide will touch the edge of that paper clip, right? And so now inside the slide, inside your slide, the spring is captured. All right, so you can kind of move it around and there's no spring pressure on your slide. Now if that paper clip falls out, you want to watch it because it will slam shut, right? And so at this point, what you do is just like a normal 1911, you'll take out your slide lock. Basically, I move my slide forward, and at the same time on the back side, the pivot point of your slide lock is on the bottom side. I just put a little pressure on that, and once it gets into position, it comes right out. And so then you just reach out and pull it out, right? From that point, then you can just lay it up. I have my muzzle facing to the left, and just slide your frame off the back side, which is to the right of your slide. Right? And once that's done, then you can just set that aside. Now, you have to kind of be careful with this. You have to make sure that your barrel is slid all the way back and locked into position into the slide. Right, it drops in there. And you want to take your barrel link, right, that's hooked to the lug, and flip it up so that it gives more space for your guide rod to come out. And then you just kind of move your guide rod slowly back, paying attention to that paper clip, and slide it towards the back of the slide to the right and pull it out from the middle there. So you just kind of get it around. Now you really want to be careful because obviously that spring is under tension. Right, we'll take this apart next, but let's take out the barrel. All you do is just flip your link forward and then run that through the muzzle end of the slide to the left and pull it out. All right, to take apart your guide rod assembly with the spring, if you kind of look at it, you'll see that there's a collar that actually is outside of the spring on the guide rod. All right, and so there's three pieces here. Obviously we want to take this apart, but that spring is condensed and contracted inside this sleeve basically. All right. So what we're going to do is just use your slide to take it apart without your barrel in it. If you carefully insert it with paper clip in front, maybe feed it through so that it's basically in the same position. Your paper clip, if your slide is upside down, obviously the paper clip is going to be on the bottom side. Once you have that located in your slide, got to make sure it goes through the right position. All right, and once that's in there, then you're going to take your, slide as far forward to the muzzle end of your slide as you can. You're going to slide it up until it makes contact. And then what you're going to do, you have to be very careful. You're going to use your thumb pressure to push forward to pull out your paper clip. All right, now that's going to have all that spring pressure is going to be on your thumb, so you have to be slightly conscious of that. So then once you're done with that, then you slowly guide it back and until it comes out. All right, and then once that's out, you remove all three parts. You have your outer collar, and then your spring and your guide rod. If you notice that spring, it's about the same length as your slide, so it is pretty stout. So that's it. Once we get a second, we'll put this all back together. So watch for that video. Thanks for watching. Make it an outstanding day and never fear the dark.